from those, that live and work in the region, but also draw visitors from outside of the region as well. And so the more people that visit the region, the more economic opportunity that would be available. But we also want to make sure that the people that live here are aware of all the amazing assets that they have available to them as well. So you might have been involved or contacted about the Heritage Area Branding Initiative. You'll notice here today that the Heritage Area Calendar does not have that branding on it yet, but there's more to come with that we can talk about later in the call. And then again, just reminding that the Heritage Area is all about making connections. And so when Cooper's talking about the calendar, thinking about how, maybe you have your own calendar or your own events, but how do you get people throughout the entire region aware of what's going on at your organizations, and even people that might be looking to visit the Heritage Area as well. And again, there's a lot of great momentum going on with the Heritage Area. This year, the National Park Service approved the feasibility study, which is essentially a study that shows that this place does qualify to be a national heritage area. So Calumet Collaborative and Calumet Heritage Partnership are working to get that designation through Congress. And so there's just a lot of great momentum going on as the heritage area evolves. And one of the easiest and first things to do as that momentum is building is creating a calendar that ties all the events together. So with that, I will hand it off to Cooper, who will introduce himself and show you the calendar.
Cool, thanks Ashley. So hello everybody. My name is Cooper, and I am the Calumet Collaborative and Field Museum's Stewards AmeriCorps Vista member here in Chicago. So my work that I've been doing has been, for one, working with this calendar, but I've also been working to develop the Calumet Voices National Stories exhibit here in Pullman. Check that out, shameless plug. So I should probably say welcome to this calendar, and I should also explain what the purpose of this calendar is, other than what Ashley has kind of already alluded to. So the purpose of the calendar is it's the region's one-stop shop for events and programs in the Calumet Heritage Area that are all about the region's nature, industry, and culture. The Calumet National Heritage Area Initiative spawned this calendar as the Calumet Collaborative and Calumet Heritage Partnership are working to unite the region under nature, industry, and culture. We hope that by spreading this calendar throughout the region, visitors and residents of the region will be better informed of recreational activities, historical programs, and educational and volunteer opportunities. So, with that, we will go into getting to the calendar. So, on the web page, on the web browser,
and
you can.
Oops, sorry. Before you begin, everyone can see Cooper's screen, correct? No one's having problems.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay. Sorry. Should have checked that. So let's see here. Yes. So Calumet Heritage Area. It's a one long word, no spaces, under lowercase, and when you type that all in, you get this nice fancy website right here that was created by Ashley and the Calumet Heritage Partnership. So once here, you can go to all the other nice little tools we got here, but we're going to talk about the calendar. So before we go to the calendar, I want to cover over the guidelines of the calendar. So the guidelines for the calendar should be your reference if you have any questions about the calendar. And if you cannot find the answer to your question on this page, we have an email address at the very bottom here that you can go to, and we will respond to you as soon as we can. So some of the, I would like to point out, main parts of the guidelines would be that they're actually in the Calumet Heritage Area. So that would be within southeastern Chicago or the South Chicago region, the Lake County, Porter County, and LaPorte County. Anything out of it does not qualify, and we would like people not to include those events on the calendar.
Oops, sorry. And one point though is that if like let's say there is an event in the Chicago Loop that's about Calumet and about heritage, then that would. So these are rough guidelines as long as it again like talks about the Calumet region itself, and I think there's a couple other key criteria up at the top. That's fine.
Yeah. So another thing is please give us. We only have a few people here, so give us a few days to get the events onto the calendar. And we also would like you to proofread your entry. We will also read the entry, but we can't get all the grammatical errors. So then we have the event submission. You can only include 4 keywords or keywords or tags to the calendar, so then people can search it. But if you want more, you just let us know, and we can add as many as needed. These are some of the calendar categories that you can add to it. They're pre-populated onto the event submission form, so you don't have to worry about not finding something that matches your event or program. So that's kind of the guidelines. And again, if you need to have anything, you have any questions, go here. But then, if you can't find it, email us. So now we're going to actually go to the calendar. So,
Cooper, excuse me, what is your typical turnaround time for approving the post?
We're able to turn around it in about 2 to 3 days. But we would like give us about a week or 2 in advance before you have the event to submit it, because we don't have my service term here as an AmeriCorps member is ending soon, so it will be up to Ashley and the Calumet Heritage Partnership, and I'm usually the one that looks at it and adds the events, but soon it will just be Ashley and the Calumet Heritage Partnership. So we would like people to submit them fairly early on, so then we can make sure they're there in time for your event.
Yeah, and just to clarify, so it won't take me like 2 weeks to approve the event. I think what Cooper is saying is that, it will probably take me or someone at Heritage Partnership 2 to 3 days to approve the event, but make sure you give yourself enough time for the calendar, for the event to appear on the calendar to allow it to be promoted.
Yeah. Any other questions before we move on? No? Okay. So thank you, Ashley. We're going to go on to the events calendar to finally get to this part. So as you can see here, we have all these cool events that are going on in the region so far. And if you want to find more, you just click the load more events, and more events will load up. So the next thing I'm going to show you is Pinboard and Agenda. Pinboard, Agenda, and Monthly. Monthly is for some people want to see it day by day, or they can search for certain days or months that they want to find it. So like say you want something that's going on the 12th or the 13th of what month is this? August. So you just click it, and it would bring you to that page. That's one way of seeing the calendar. Second way is Agenda. So Agenda gives you a little bit more precise pieces, a little view into what's going on here. It doesn't give you a description unless you include it right here. And then we have Pinboard. Pinboard is my personal favorite, and it kind of gives it a more modern take to calendars. It might be a little bit hard, might be, some people might not like it this way, but that's to say with everybody's personal preference. So then we have the subscribe button. If you want to press the subscribe button, it will download all of the different events that are going on in the region from this calendar into your personal calendar. So we would suggest you, if you want that, you can click that. But it might take a while to get all that information down. And we also update things frequently, so it doesn't include that. Then you have the Submit Events bar, and you have the date search. So you can, if you click it one more, it goes to events from September 1st onwards, whereas where it is right now, from August 1st onwards.
And you can also click on to the date itself and choose from any date in the calendar.
Yeah. So, the 19th. There we go. And then you have the search bar. So the search bar, if somebody wanted to search for, say, Indiana Dunes, so we'll just type in dunes, see what comes up. There we go. There's some dunes. So we have some educational hikes, but typing in the words, you have to be grammatically and spelling correct or it won't show up, such as by saying volunteers. If you put in volunteers, nothing's going to happen, but if you do volunteer, stuff happens. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So
yep.
Another function of the search bar is if we have these little boxes down here. So by clicking on any one of these boxes, you'll have all of the calendar's events that have one of those boxes attached to it, or categories or tags. It will populate the calendar with them. So we're going to do Lake County. So in Lake County, all of the Lake County events are now, that are on the calendar are now on your page for you to see. And if I'm right, Ashley, you can specifically change the coding to make it so then events will show up like this on a calendar that somebody puts on their website.
Yeah, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the call, but if you did want to share this calendar on your own web page, there are ways to pre-populate it with events that are most relevant to you based on how we've tagged the calendar. I would just caution that if you do decide to do that, like let's say you only want to show events that have to do with being outdoors, well, we can pre-populate it to show that for you once someone starts going into the calendar and searching it and manipulating it for how they want to see it. Once they perform their first search, that pre-population will go away. So it only applies to when you have it first shown on your website.
Cool. So now that we've gone over the search bar, we've gone over the guidelines and the layout, we're going to click on events. Let's do this one. Sometimes it does include a picture, but this one apparently doesn't have a picture. So when it comes up, you'll see the title of the event, when the event is happening, what time the event is happening, the different tags that are attached to the event. Now, usually there's only 4 tags that you can add, but we will add more if you tell us to. Sometimes we can catch it where we will add more, but that is really just up to us checking it before we add it on. So we would suggest you letting us know if there are other tags that you'd like to add. Then we have where it is going to be located, and then we have the description, and finally we ask that everybody, when you add a description to your event, that you include a separate link to your event from your own page, just in case, because in some instances with, let's say, this one, so there is a class information link up here that you can click on and it will bring you to the exact page. But we just want to make sure that by having this page with a link at the bottom of it as well as a link at the top of it, that people can find their way to your website and not be left in the dark. Is that clear to everybody?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Does that link need to be a URL address, or could it just be, you know, click on the, and then you kind of like hyperlink the phrase, you know, say like for additional events at Gavis Arboretum, could we link Gavis Arboretum, or does it need to be the raw URL?
No, you can link the raw URL, or you can link a hyperlink.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Yep.
So,
and then I would also add, that class information button that you see, and we'll get to this and when you submit an event, but you can customize what you want the button to say, and then you can have both the button up there in the corner plus the URL and description. Like Cooper was saying, it's best to include it in both places just so there's multiple ways that people can get to your site.
So are you saying that where it says class information right now, that could say something different?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, you could say like buy tickets or something like that.
Okay, so you're going to show us that yet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You can also copy the event link. You can email the details. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. Surprised I don't have Instagram on here. But if you need to share or you want to share it, you can just click on one of those, and it will bring you to a URL that you can copy and paste into the social media. So now that we've covered over the individual event page on here, we're going to go into the event submission page. So I asked everybody to have an event that they'd like to add to it, just so then if you have any questions as we're going through, I can walk you through what you're having difficulty with. So the name and your contact email, this is not something that's going to show up in the event. Your name is your individual name, so it would be Cooper David Sheldon. Please ignore my address. Your name there, and your contact email. What we do with this information when you add it on there is we put it into an Excel document with all the other information from the event you submit, so then we can use that in the future if something happens to the Talkify page, or if we need to refer back to it. We used for contacting you guys, your organizations, you guys were the ones that submitted the most or had the most events going on. So we used the information from the events page or the events Excel to figure out who to contact who had the most events on their page. So that's just a little look behind why we're doing the Excel document. And then here's the private notes page, or the private notes section. This is where you include to say, this is going to be a repeating event, or I would like this to happen every week on Friday until the end of September. But it's also where you include, I would like these extra categories or tags because I can't fit all the tags I want to in the tag box, and I'll show you that soon. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Then we have the event title. That's pretty straight value. That's pretty straight in understanding. And then we have the add a button to your link. So this is where what you were talking about with the adding a buy tickets here, or just a link to your page. That is this section right here where you add the link and then you add the text that you want on the button. So that's what you're specifically talking about. Then we have the keyword and tags. So the keyword tags, pre-populated. You can add 4 of these. If you guys need another one, an added one on, just let us know, and we will see what we can do about adding a new tag. So after that is the adding an event image. So this will show up in the event description, but it will also show up when representing the event. on the calendar page or the pinpoints or the agenda page. Any questions about any of that so far?
Is there any particular, does it have to be a JPEG or anything in particular?
JPEG works the best.
Okay.
There are ways to, if we get something that isn't a JPEG or you want to add something that's not a JPEG, there are ways to go around that, but we would like it to be a JPEG because it makes it easier on us.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine too, if it's like any picture file, I think there's more than JPEG, like PNG, or there's other ones, but like a standard picture file, it will tell you if it doesn't work. So.
Okay.
Then we have when your event is going on. So standard, if you click on it, it will show up. And you can press all day. Time zones, I don't think that we will have a problem with the time zones. Then we have the event description. So with the event description, this is where you put all the information that you want people to know about it. Sometimes you may also want to include the specific days, like if you're putting on a kids day camp, you can be like, okay, well, the camp goes from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. this week, but it's a different week on this week. So you can include that information here, also the description of the event, and maybe some more information about why it's going on. It's up to you guys to provide us the information, but also if we ask that you check the grammar and the punctuation, the spelling before you submit the event. Then we have the venue and room/building. This is where the event is going to be taking place. So it will, I don't think it pre-populates. No, it doesn't pre-populate. So you say if it's going to be at the Indiana Dunes National Park Visitor Information Center, or the Visitor Center. You would put that there, and then you would add where exactly it is. And with the directions, you can add directions, but people most people have some sort of app on their phone or GPS that they can just plug in the address and they can take them there. So you can add directions if you want. So that is all that you need to know about submitting the form. But if you have any questions about submitting a form, you can go to the guidelines or you can email us directly. So does everybody have any questions about that?
Nope.
And I would add just one thing just from what we've seen events that have come in so far. Just remembering that this is a calendar for a general wide region and that your name and your contact email doesn't show up. So it's important to put your organization in the event title and the description. And some people have just been missing that because they think, oh, my name, I'm putting my organization there so that, we'll take care of it. But no, that's not the case. As Cooper described, that's information that goes directly to us so we can contact you if there's a problem. But yeah, make sure you have your organization in the event title and the description.
Cool. So last things that we want to cover over is, and I will pause the sharing for a moment to switch pages. So, did everybody see a PowerPoint?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. So, this is, there we go. So this is the, how to add it to your own website, but also, as it says, going forward. So if you guys have anybody that wants to put this calendar on your website, you use this specific coding information. You don't have to write it down. We're going to send you this information. if you want to add it to your own calendar. But we also understand that people have their own calendars, and this is just something extra that some people might want to include. Do you have anything to say about this, Ashley?
Yeah, and really happy to open this up to more of a discussion. So we're, thinking of ways that we can increase awareness of the Heritage Area Calendar itself. And one thing that will be coming up, I mentioned before, the branding initiative. You'll actually see in the bottom left-hand corner the beautiful Calumet Heritage Area brand, which we will be, releasing soon and contacting people about implementation soon. But when that happens, one thing that we'll be doing when we're talking to all of our different partners that are within the heritage area is, one way that they can promote that they're a part of this place is, have a page on their website about it. And we would, of course, provide you with like all the information you would need to update that page. So like colors, branding, pictures, description of the heritage area. And, on that page, you could easily put in this code that we have here, so the calendar would populate itself. It updates automatically. You just put the code there and you don't have to worry about it after that. You could also just include a link to our website moving forward. Again, I know that some people have their own event calendars, and so if this is going to be conflicting with that, it would be great if you can just, show that you're a partner or supporting the heritage area and link to that web page or link to our web page. Again, we want to really create the connections between all different parts of the region, and so that's why showing this calendar on your website is a great way to do that. But open to hearing your thoughts, especially for those that have calendars on their websites, if they think this is conflicting or how you could see yourselves supporting it.
Hi, this is Linda from Indiana Dunes National Park, and I'm wondering, is there a way to link this into Facebook? Because what we have our calendar on the website, but there's no way that we're going to be able to do any addition. It's pretty much set for all of the national park sites. Mm-hmm. Is there a way to link this to our Facebook page? Because we do post events there too.
Yeah, so in that case, there's a link to the Trello board below there. We'll be updating this actually when we have the branding ready to go out too. But at least for now, on that Trello board, you'll see various like social media posts that you can copy and paste. You'll find calendar descriptions. So that, and then like some images. And again, like I said, we'll be like the approval of the branding is like very, very new, so now this needs to be updated with more images once we have it, but at least the descriptions and social media posts and link to the calendar you'll find in that Trello board, and that could be like one place to go for social media assets.
Cool.
Yeah.
So do we have any other questions? No?
Probably not until we try it. Then you're going to get bombarded.
We are going to, we've recorded this session, but we've also have a PowerPoint. This is one of the pages to the PowerPoint. We will send these out later today once the webinar is over. So then you guys will have both video, but also a PowerPoint to refer back to it if you have any questions. And again, we have our email address and the guide on the website. So if nobody else has any other questions, then I think that this is the end of the webinar.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you for your time. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Am I the only one left?